Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Leani Lopez, and I am here for another episode of I Got Nothing, a podcast for exhausted writers. I am joined by a fellow exhausted writer. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Drewett, and I am a disabled LGBTQ plus writer based in Sussex, England.
Yay! Welcome!
Hiya!
Thank you so much for joining me. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your writing journey and how you got started?
So, I suppose, if we're being accurate, I kind of got started when I was about 8, so this would have been about 28 years ago, which is shocking to me. So I was about 8 years old, and we had it. This was in year 3, or you Americans would call it the second grade. We had this creative writing homework, and I really enjoyed it. And I actually did pretty well with it. My teacher was praised me quite a bit for it, which was unusual for me, because whilst I was a decent student, I wasn't super praiseworthy at any point. So I was like, oh, wow, she must have really enjoyed that.
I connect with that on a deep level.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, well, if she liked that, then maybe, and I really enjoyed it as well, because I liked creating my own worlds. I liked creating characters and all the rest of it. And I thought maybe I should do this more often. And then fast forward till I was an adult in my 20s, I was doing reviews for various different websites, namely about films, but also I ran a couple of different series about cosplay, because I was into the cosplay community at the time. And when I hit, I think, 28, 29, I just thought to myself, I want to be able to write fiction, but I have no idea how to, get my work out there. And then eventually I settled on writing a book, and I sort of didn't quite know what I was doing. But I got there in the end, and I released my first book when I was 32, 33, and I'm 36 now, and I've got 3 books under my belt so far.
That's amazing. A lot of writers go through I want to write a book, but I don't know how to do it. And it's such a common experience. And to be able to say that, but persevere and do it anyway, takes a lot of determination.
Yeah. A lot of stubbornness, I usually put it for myself personally.
Yeah, and also, your brain won't let you put that story down. Everyone I've talked to, I've done a couple of these, in the last couple of months, and so many authors are like, the story wouldn't leave me alone. I had to write it. I got the idea, and I was like, I need to write this book.
Yeah, I get that as well. One of my, at the moment, I had this idea that is currently just an idea. It's not a first draft or anything like that yet. But I've been brainstorming for various bits and pieces whilst in between projects. And yesterday I had an idea for one of the elements of it, and it would not leave me alone until I wrote it down when I got home from work.
Yep.
And this was at I got home about 6 in the evening, and I was just like, right, I need to write this down. I've got to write this down.
I can't forget this.
Yeah, I just had to write it down and keep it in my brain. And because I couldn't write it on the bus, and I, obviously I don't drive, but if I was driving, I can't drive and write.
Yeah.
So, I just had to wait until I got home. But I was listening to repetitively listening to 3 different songs for the hour it took me to get home, just to keep the idea in my head.
Yeah, music does that for me. The first thing I do when I have an idea is create a playlist.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and the songs, I try to keep the songs on those playlists fresh and different from other playlists, so that when the song comes on, I go right into that idea.
Yeah, so now I've got a playlist on Spotify that's just a no lyrics thing, so it's just pure instrumentals, not a word in sight, because lyrics really distract me.
Yeah.
So I have to have no words, just music.
Valid. Absolutely valid. So you had this idea and you were like, I'm going to write a book. And then you did. So what did it feel like when you finished that book?
It was a weird mix, because on the one hand, I was really euphoric. I just thought, right, this is finally done, and I've worked so hard, and I've gotten all these ideas together, and it's done. Oh my God, this is the best feeling ever. But there was also, like, it's really strange. I did have what I would term like a post-achievement crash. Which is apparently quite classic in ADHD, because the chase of it was so exciting, and just trying to get it done, and it gave me so much dopamine.
Yeah.
But then when it was over, I just felt almost a bit empty at the end.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
ADHD here too. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So I also have like autism as well as ADHD, and like, honestly, the mix of the two is really interesting at the best of times. But it was like the autistic side was like, we've achieved it, this is great, blah blah blah, let's get organized. And the ADHD part of me was just like, I feel crap.
What do I do now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So existential crisis time.
That just resonates with me when it comes to having a hyperfixation. I haven't had one in months. I'm used to having like a show or a character or an actor who I'm like really like hyper vigilant and focused on, and I consume that media outside of my work, and it actually gives me the dopamine and gives me the good brain chemicals to like work on my own thing. But it's been months since I've had that, pretty much since I finished Battle Cry, my audio drama. Like, that was my hyperfixation for a long time. And like you were saying, when it was done, I didn't really have a crash per se when it was finally like written, because then I was like, cool, I get to go into production, and there was always other steps. But when the season finale came out, that's when my crash happened in October. Because I was like, no, it's done. Like, season 1's done. And I'm not doing season 2 for a very long time. And I ended up taking all of October off from my personal work or my self-employment. I was just like, I need a month to recuperate. And then that turned into more, because my body's like, oh, cool, you're relaxed now? Well, here's all the sickness I was pushing off while you were busy.
See, I have, as well as being neurodivergent, I also have, like, chronic health issues as well. So if I get sick, it really knocks me for six, and there's very little in terms of, like, stopping it from happening.
Yeah.
It just will happen no matter what, and it will crash me out. It's interesting you're saying about hyperfixations, because I hyperfixate on a lot all the time. It's quite a problem. But, like, it's difficult to then, the challenge I have is just channeling it into something a bit more constructive. Yes. Or channeling it into my writing, which is the hard part.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am now. I finally got a hyperfixation because, like everyone else, I have watched Heated Rivalry, and I was like, oh, good media, good queer media, I'm here. And like working on these interviews for this season, and like the house stuff is happening soon. But like then my book, which I've been trying to write for many years and I finally drafted last year, is like, editing's your favorite part and you haven't really touched me right now. And I'm just like, but I got to do all this. And it's like, yeah, but like, I'm here.
I've been trying to work on I've got 2 projects on the go. I've got, I'm in the middle of trying to get a new flat. I'm waiting for some rehabilitation for my chronic health issues. And I've also got a new job on the horizon as well. And and also I've got in-person events, online sales. And I'm just like, I've got so much to do. How am I going to get time to fit all this in on top of working 30 hours a week at my NHS job? It's just, it's a lot.
It is. And yet we do it. And yet we keep doing it because we just love it so much.
I think one of my closest friends puts it, it's a good kind of busy. And I have to agree with him, actually.
Yeah, that's kind of where this week kind of kicked off, because this is when all like I'm trying to get the bulk of my work done, because when the summertime comes, we are cleaning and moving. So I'm trying to get it all done and scheduled so it can kind of run on its own when that happens, which means the next 2 months are going to be insane as I try to get everything done.
I can only imagine it's going to be nuts.
It is, but I'm like thriving on it because I haven't been this busy in a really long time, and I do best when I am this busy.
I feel like I'm the same. I'm much better when I've got things to do and I've got projects going on, because if I get bored, that's the worst thing I can be, is bored. I don't deal well with boredom at all. If I'm bored, I'm just like, I just switch off and I just vegetate almost. So I'm just like, I need things to do.
Yes, 100%. 100%. And so you finished this book, and that's amazing. Do you have plans for a different book? I know this is book 1 that you finished. Is that correct? It's a series?
So I've got so my debut book isn't the first book in the series that I'm working on at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So I've got one book in my current series. So it's the Tegan Jarverman series, and the first book was The Midwife in the Middle, which I released in July last year. I do have the sequel to that coming out at the end of July this year, literally at the end, on the 31st of July, called The Midwife in the Spotlight. I know, a shocking sort of title. Deviation, I know. But yeah, so I've been working on that. I'm about to hand it over to the developmental editor, which I've been looking forward to because I've worked with her before on The Midwife in the Middle, and she is fantastic. So I'm so looking forward to working with her again.
That's wonderful when you can find someone that not only do you work well with, but you enjoy working with.
Oh, for definite. Like, I think I've pretty much got my editing deemed down, or at least definitely for my more romance-oriented books, because now I've got a manuscript evaluator who I've used a couple of times now for both books in this series. The developmental editor I'm using this time did it last time, and she did the line and copy edit purely because my friend who's going to do it for this book couldn't do it last year. So, I've got 3 really great people that I work with.
That's awesome to have people in your corner that helps, because writing is so solitary. I don't think people realize how solitary it can be, especially if you're not co-writing with anybody. And even if you are, it essentially just comes down to you and your pen or you and your laptop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the solitariness. That's probably not a word, but never mind. I don't mind being on my own. I think with the past several months, I've had a lot to deal with, and I find that I can thrive on my own sometimes. Mm-hmm. Not to say that I would want to be on my own forever for the rest of my life, but I don't mind it too much, mostly because it gives me time to work on things that I need to work on, i.e. my books.
Yeah.
But it is quite a solitary thing. I think people don't always realise that it can be a bit lonely sometimes, and it can be a bit isolating, but then sometimes that's just the way it is, and that's how best some people work. I'm a bit of an introvert, so I don't thrive in social interactions as such. In fact, they can drain my energy, and then all I want to do is go home and not talk to anyone for days on end.
Yeah, that's how I am after events, because I am also introvert. And then when I get home from an event, I'm like, you cannot talk to me for 2 to 3 business days.
Yeah, I mean, I'll post stuff online, but that's usually because I prepared for it in advance.
Yeah.
So, I'll have, drafts on TikTok of stuff that I'm going to post. That is if I've remembered to do it. And that will keep me going until I feel like I can be social again. But the problem for me is that I work. So, and there's only so much annual leave I have.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I still have to talk to people at work. Brilliant, okay. Fine, I'll talk to people.
If that
I'll
is
deal
not
with the great British public.
If that is not the introvert's motto, oh, fine, I'll talk to people, I don't know what is.
It's our motto, and we hold firm to it.
So you mentioned you did the playlist of music without lyrics and things like that. Are there any writing rituals that you do when you're working on your books?
Yeah, so I have this app on my phone called Focus Friend. It was done by, I can't remember if it was Hank or John Green. I think it was Hank Green who developed it. And it's a really good app. You can basically sort of configure it so that it turns off the ability to use the apps on your phone.
Oh, yes, I've heard of this. Yes.
Yes. So, and you have a little character, and depending on if you're on premium or the basic membership, it will dictate whether it's it basically your little character will knit like either socks or scarves or both. And I absolutely love it. I've been decorating the little like house that the bean character has.
Aww.
And it's just it's really good because it means that I'm not playing with my phone when I'm supposed to be working on something or doing research or actually writing. As you mentioned, obviously I've got the playlist, and I try and wear something as comfy as possible. Now, not to say that I inherently wear uncomfortable clothes for work. I don't actually. I'm pretty comfy, but I'll wear something to try and relax as much as possible. So, like, I've got a big purple onesie that I'll sometimes wear, which I refer to as my writing onesie.
Amazing.
Which I'll wear on like days off or during the weekends. I've also got like an hoodie for the winter. Sometimes I'll just stay in my pajamas because that's just the comfiest thing ever. It will just be big, comfy clothes, basically, is the order of the day, because I like baggy things. So, yeah, it depends, because obviously if it's right before work, I'll just do it in my work clothes. But if it's a day off or something, I'm like, right, I need to do this properly.
Being comfortable is so important. As I say, in my pajamas right now. With my favorite cardigan on. I have a cardigan my husband got me that has webs, like embroidered with like spider webs and spiders. He got it after I got my spider tattoo, so I have a whole aesthetic now. And I just sit in my armchair when I'm writing.
I don't have the comfiest setup yet, but once I've moved, I am going to buy a desk and a proper office chair, because I don't have that at the moment. So
yeah, neither do I. I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to having a proper desk and a proper office chair, and just to be able to sit and write properly rather than sitting on a sofa, which sounds really comfortable, but after a while, when you're having to peer through on a television, it's not very comfortable, actually.
Yeah, or if you have to do research and you have like books or notebooks and you're kind of juggling where the piles of them go on the couch.
Oh God, yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I actually said that to my husband earlier this week because I had to look something up. I have a book that is, I believe it's called like the Emotion Amplifier, and it actually breaks down each emotion and tells you how people will physically react to that emotion. And so I wanted to tweak a scene that I had done because I used a same description from before. So I had to like dig through our one bookcase upstairs, finally find it, get into the armchair, and like just try to find a place to balance that book while typing at the same time. And I was like, I cannot wait for the fall when I will have a desk and a chair and I can spread my stuff out on my desk. This is driving me insane.
I'm looking forward to that too for myself. I mean, I'll be in my own space as well, which will be just that's all I've ever wanted in life is my own space. And I'm just looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to like having, not worrying about, someone walking in and finding my array of piles everywhere and getting cross with me. I can just leave the piles there, and it's just me who will get annoyed if I bump into them.
Yes.
It'll be nice.
Yeah, my husband always makes fun of me because we have a dual armchair, but my son takes one armchair, and my husband usually has the other when he's home. So I have the couch, which is this big, like L-shaped sectional, and half of it always has a pile of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sat on my sofa at the moment with a giant pile of stuff. Although I am in the midst of moving, so it's kind of like, well, it's it's organizational mess, not me having a breakdown in the middle of tidying things and just forgetting about it for 3 weeks.
Oh wow, yeah, that tracks. So when you get a writing idea or when you get something you want to expand on, how do you develop it further? Do you go outline route? Do you kind of just pants it and say, let's see where this goes?
I think it's a mix of the two. I'm definitely like a mix between pantsing it and planning it. So I'll just write whatever notes come to my brain initially, even if it's not like a set beginning, middle, end. I'll have ideas for scenes. I might think, well, I need to get to this point at this point, or this thing needs to happen, because it will come to me as like, once I've got the basic idea, I'll have scenes randomly enter my head, but I won't know where they belong yet. So I'll have like scenes or like fragments and stuff like that. And I try and like shut out as much stimuli as possible, which sounds a bit odd, but like, I don't want to, sometimes, even if it's still daylight, I'll just close the curtains.
Yeah.
Just so I'm not distracted by the outside.
Yeah.
I'll shut the door, I'll put on focus friend, and I'll just do a bit of brainstorming. Although I have to admit, the best bit of brainstorming I ever did was for a project I haven't even started yet. But it was during a writing stream I did on the release day for The Midwife in the Middle. I did it for charity. So I did an 8-hour charity stream on Twitch, which I'm going to do again, only in 2 4-hour segments this time, for the release date of The Midwife in the Spotlight as well. So I'm going to raise money for charity, but also do a writing stream where I talk about writing, do some brainstorming, maybe do a bit of writing, discuss the book I've just released, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And that was some of the best brainstorming, partly because I had someone else with me, or other people talking to me and giving me ideas. And I was just like, ooh, okay, that might work. Write it down.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I never even thought of doing that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, because I realized in classic neurodivergent form, I realized all this stuff in completely the wrong order. But like, I find I work best when other people are either sort of doing something alongside me. So it's this act called body doubling.
Yes.
Yeah, so I love body doubling. I've actually got a friend who's working on her debut novel, and me and her will do semi-regular virtual writing sprints, or sometimes we'll meet up in person, because we don't live that far from each other in the grand scheme of it. So we'll just sit together, write for like half an hour or 45 minutes, and then at the end of it, we'll turn to each other and just talk about what we've just done. And on the stream, what was really good was, because I was saying stuff out loud and writing things down, it was quite interactive for other people. So they were able to go, oh, have you thought about this? Or, oh, I quite like this name. I don't know if this will suit you for this character.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So actually, one of the ideas I was working on in the last stream I did, one of my friends who's also a comic writer in his own right, gave me a name for one of the characters, and it was a Dutch name, but I thought, as soon as I knew how it was pronounced, I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
Got it. This is perfect.
That's
great
so
for that
cool.
character. I am writing this down. And that has stuck the whole time, and that was 9 months ago or so.
That's such a great way to brainstorm, especially if you are at home or with a friend. Oh man, add it to the list when I get an office.
Yeah, honestly, like, body doubling is a really great way of just, because I think it provides a sense of accountability where, because someone else is there with you, whether they're in the room or on the computer, there's this idea that, oh, right, well, they're working on their stuff, so therefore I need to go work on my stuff and put in as much effort as possible. And, like, I sometimes, there's like a trio of us that do body doubling together sometimes in this little writing sprint. And it's so much fun. I love it. I highly recommend, especially if you've got ADHD, highly recommend body doubling.
Awesome. That is going on my list right now. And this is a writing advice podcast, so I always like to ask my guests, what is the best piece of writing advice you've ever received, or what is the worst?
Oh, I think this answer probably ties the two of them together quite well. So one of the best bits of advice I ever got given was quality over quantity. Basically, it's all well and good writing a load of words all the time, every day. But if they're no good, then it's no good. So, there's nothing against anyone who do write every day, but I really can't force myself into that. Like, I'd rather be a slower writer who considers every single word as meticulously as possible. Almost like, so I used to play clarinet, and the way I always imagine it as tuning my instrument. I just imagine it like that. And it sort of combines with the worst bit of advice, which is going to be a little controversial, but the idea of writing every day. I'm neurodivergent.
Yes.
I can't write every day.
Yeah.
Some people can, and I fully respect it, but I can't do it. It's not a great universal bit of advice. So, there's all, and, it's not just if you're neurodivergent, if you've got a child to raise, if you've got like a full-time job, if you're looking after someone, if you're a carer, all of those things are really valid reasons and more as to why you can't write every day.
Yeah, sometimes it's not logistical. Like, sometimes the logistics are just not there. There's just not enough time in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I only work 30 hours a week, but even so, like, that can be quite exhausting. And, not just physically, but mentally as well. And honestly, I some days I'm just spent. I can't focus, and I'd rather just leave it until I can focus and, do what I need to do, rather than force myself into writing something I know is going to be crap.
Yeah. Yes, I do write full time, and I will still have days during the week that I just can't write. I purposely take weekends off. Otherwise, I will work 24/7 and I will burn myself out very quickly. But even then, I will have days during the week, because I also ghostwrite for someone else and all my other projects at the same time. I'll have days where I'm just like, I just can't. Like, my brain is just not there. I can do like the little admin things. I can do like posting, and I can do some organizational stuff, but I just cannot write that day. It's just not happening.
Yeah, it's just, sometimes we just need, and I think it's also the idea that we need to modulate ourselves, right? Which is something that we would, you and I would probably struggle with because of ADHD. If it was left to me, I would just burn myself out really quickly. Whilst the things that I have done in order to regulate myself, in order to organize myself a little bit, as much as one can do with raging ADHD, I'm able to sort of peter myself out. And I used to feel quite bad that I couldn't write every day. And now I'm at a place where I'm like, I think it's okay. I'd rather be a meticulously precise writer over just putting everything down and hoping for the best.
Yes. I have been going to therapy for many years because of my anxiety. I had very bad anxiety a couple years ago that manifested as a stutter and a tremor in my hands. So it was very difficult to type, and even more difficult to do speech to text or talk. And the therapist I have now is fantastic. I've been going to her for a couple years, but she really helped me with that portion of things, of feeling guilty for not writing or feeling guilty for taking a break. And I've gotten to the point where I'm much better at that. I'm not saying like I don't feel guilty anymore, because a part of me will always feel guilty about everything. But but she gave me the tools, and also verbally says it herself, where she reminds me, your focus on wanting to do that every day comes from, at least you personally, comes from a fear of not picking it back up, because that's what happened when I was younger. And she was like, however, you have plenty of evidence that when you do take a break, you are far more productive on the days that you do write than you used to be. So I'm not writing a couple hundred words every day, but when I do a writing session, I'll write like over 2,000 words in one session.
Yeah, I mean, I find that, I mean, because I've actually just finished therapy very recently, literally a couple of weeks ago, which I was in for about 11 months. And we did discuss actually, my own guilt about feeling, about taking a break and, not going as quickly as other people are, or not releasing as much as other people. But, it was the same thing with my therapist. She was just like, look, you seem to do a lot better when you just stop and take a break for a second and just give yourself permission to just breathe, because you don't, because otherwise, like I said before, I would just burn myself out.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't lead to brilliant writing. It just leads to me feeling like a complete wreck.
Yes.
So I've been working on just sort of saying to myself, I think comparison is the thief of joy. Like, you can't compare yourself to other people. Obviously, you can take down what they do if that inspires you to do something, but I don't feel like it's very helpful to like go, oh, well, this person's released 4 books this year, therefore I'm a failure because I only released 1. I just feel like actually I could go at my own pace, and that's absolutely fine. And it's not that they're better than me, it's just they're doing things differently.
Yeah, exactly. I dealt with that last year because I haven't released a book in many years. My last book I think I released in 2023, and it was a novella that I had written years before. I just had it in my drafts and I wasn't doing anything with it, so I edited it and I released it. And after that is when I switched focus to working on my audio drama. So I kind of had this moment last year where I was like, I haven't released a book in many years, and I'm not going to release one anytime soon because mine needs a lot of work. And then I was like, yeah, but you literally just wrote and produced a whole first season of an audio drama. There was no time for you to write a book, ma'am. Like,
yeah, there's a part of me that sort of go, I need to have a word with myself and go, yeah, we did fine. We were doing other things.
Yes.
Completely valid.
Exactly. And I felt it was like once I had those words with myself, I was like, oh yeah, what the hell are you doing? Like especially being at events, because I also did a lot of in-person events last year, not just as an author, but I also do tarot readings. So I'll do local events and I'll give tarot readings at events. And so I went to an expo last year that was about women and about elevating women. It was amazing. And I did tarot readings there, but I also showcased my audio drama, and my best friend was there as my helper. And even like some of the people had seen me at the year before, and a couple people bought my books, but most of them were really interested in the audio drama, and we got rid of almost all the flyers I made for it.
Oh, that's amazing.
And we will hit a year at the end of May, on May 30th, and we are already just about to hit 7,000 total downloads for the season.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and we haven't, the season finale was in October, so there hasn't been a new episode in months, and we're still averaging 100 downloads a week. So
that's insane.
Yeah, so as sad as I am, I have not released a book. I released something that apparently has some staying power, so I'm taking the win.
Yeah, I'm sure you should. Like, I think my next step, whilst I'm sort of also doing book releases and stuff and releasing my next book in the Tegan Jarverman series, my other next thing I really want to do is audiobooks. And I'm actually working on a Kickstarter at the moment, setting up a Kickstarter campaign so that I can raise the funds to get the audiobook produced, because audiobooks are so expensive to produce. So yeah. I'm trying to get the money together so that I can actually make it happen. So, because I feel like audio is really accessible,
yes.
Particularly on a disability level, because you're not having to hold a book.
Yeah.
You could do other things whilst you're listening if you really want to, or you could just sit there and listen, but you're not having to hold anything. And that, I think, is it's really great. And I always, whenever I go to an event, there's always at least one person, even at like a small Comic-Con, there'll always be at least one person who will ask about audiobooks.
Yes.
Always, without a doubt. And I'm like, right, I've got to do something about this. I really need to get audiobooks done, because, they're or just listening to things, I think it's just brilliant.
Yeah, I have that same thing. My mom texted me a couple weeks ago and was like, hey, one of my friends was asking if your books are in audio form, and I have the setup to do it, I just don't want to read my own spicy romance books out loud, nor do I want to have my husband play the male in those books. That's one thing. That's one. But also, the books that I wrote were written so many years ago that it's like looking at childhood photos of yourself. I don't want to revisit them because I'm such a different writer. And I know there's going to be edits that I missed. And I just don't want to see them.
I feel the same about my debut as well. I'm just I've learned so much in the past several years that I'm just I'm okay. I'm sure I'll probably turn it into an audiobook at some point, but it is quite spicy. So I'm like, how do I feel about handing this to a stranger?
Yeah.
How do I feel about handing it to a friend? Probably not either.
Yeah. I think that's a future project when I am not a one-woman show. When I can be like,
yes.
Hey, how about somebody else produce that?
Yeah. I don't even write spice anymore, but I think it was just, I'm just slightly awkward as well. So I'm just like, well, I can't do it myself. I don't want to ask someone else to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just going to have to wait.
Yeah. That is the perfect note to end this on. Thank you, Jennifer, so much for joining me today. Where can people find you online?
Oh, so I'm on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok under Ms. Jennifer Drewett, all sort of combined on my username. I'm also on Facebook under Jennifer Drewett Writer. Drewett, of course, is spelled Drewett, because no one ever spells it right first time. I'm pretty active on social media. I have a Substack that I'm going to revive very soon. I am also going to be starting my Kickstarter probably in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned.
All those links will be in the description of this episode. I'll put them in for people to find you.
Thank you.
This is a reminder that I do have a Patreon. Patrons receive episodes up to 2 days earlier than the general public. There are exclusive blogs and podcast episodes that are only found on Patreon. You'll also receive discounts on writing services, behind-the-scenes tidbits for Battle Cry, including access to our blooper reel, access to my Discord server, and shout-outs in future podcast episodes. So head over to patreon.com/Leani M. Lopez or check out the link in the description. Thank you again for joining me, and thank you to everyone for listening. And as always, happy writing!